I'm speechless, so I can just go with a question.
The way this game happened the last time, and them coming in ranked and undefeated, I want to know what you said to them in the locker room afterwards, and kind of if this is the biggest win in your local career.
I mean, given the record of the opponent we played, and obviously their ranking, it has to be. But we played terrific basketball tonight. We did all the things we talked about doing. It's one of the first games this year where we've taken care of the basketball. It's been a big point of emphasis for us. We continue to guard the three-point line really diligently throughout the game. And that's all I told the guys before the game. I actually gave them a quote yesterday and a quote again today in the locker room from Greg Popovich after the Spurs beat the Raptors, saying it's not about who we're playing. It's not about anything. It's just about us executing and competing. And that's all we talked about for 2 days. Let the pit be the pit. Let all that stuff take care of itself. We just need to execute possession by possession. Who the opponent is doesn't even matter. We just do what we do. And thankfully, we were able to do that to victory tonight.
Who the opponent is doesn't really matter. Doesn't necessarily come into play when there's an undefeated team like Nevada coming in. And you guys have played every game this year. You've talked about it, overlooking teams. This was a team you couldn't overlook.
Potentially so. I'm just telling you what we talked about. I never once talked about the ranking, anything even remotely like that. It was just the next game. It can be pressure to play in these games, and I wanted to alleviate as much of that as I could and just talk about what we wanted to do, which was not turn the basketball over, contain them from the three-point line, and just compete. And thankfully, we were able to do all three of those tonight.
Coach, every facet of the game, everything we see here, plus the eye test, the feeling in your heart right now in that locker room, what does it feel like to play every facet of the game and beat the 6th ranked team in the country at every facet of the game?
I think a lot of things, Henry, you always go here with me. I think, first off, I reflect back and think of the previous games we've had and why it maybe took me so long to make some of the adjustments that we've made to our team. But I'm glad we've at least gotten to here now, and hopefully it'll serve us very well going forward. And personally, I've been in a really dark place for a month now, and it hasn't made me a great person at times that I'm proud of, a great husband at times I'm proud of, but this is what this profession kind of does to you. So now you sit here and you think about whether all this stuff is worth it and things like that. And I'm really happy we got the win. I'm happy for my players. I'm really happy for Lobo fans and Lobo basketball. But Paul Weir still has a long way to go.
Suggestion and a question: can we keep these jerseys for future games? You prove you can compete with any team tonight when you're firing on all cylinders. What's changed since the Penn game? How did it all come together tonight?
After the Penn game, we met the next morning. I told them, after the North Texas game, we met the next morning. I told them we were going to make some changes to things that we do. We were going to make changes to things that they thought this year was going to be about. Everything that I talk about with you, I talk about with everybody. But at that point in time, at 5 and 6, I felt like it wasn't working, and I had to do something different, and the only way it was going to work was with their buy-in. And it's easy at 5 and 6 to say this coach doesn't know what he's doing, or we don't know what we're doing, or we're not going to be very good, or point fingers. But if we can all find a way to come together and say we're going to start playing zone defense and we're going to start playing different offensively, we can hopefully turn this thing around. I thought, in my estimation, we had a chance to do that. And we did, and the guys bought in. And I haven't had any pushback. I haven't had anything. These kids have bought in, no different than last year's kids bought in. And the only reason maybe we've lost the games has nothing to do with them, and I've sat here saying about it. It might be just because they had a bad basketball coach for 11 games. So hopefully I'll be able to continue to not get in the way of good players being good players.
Paul, the zone that you had against Air Force and then tonight, how much was just learning it a little bit, and how much was them buying in, and how much did you have to do in between the games?
Yeah, I was at New Mexico State as an assistant. I always used to coach our defense. We ironically played Craig Snow and Brandon Mason at New Mexico Highlands. I think it was a game right after Christmas, and I went home for a few days and I was sick to my stomach about the defense I was coaching and how it was working out. And I came back in and I sat down with Marv and I said, Marv, we're going to play zone defense and this is what I want to do and this is how I want to do it. And I had a very similar moment after the North Texas game. And we've been teaching that zone defense really ever since. And so far, it's worked out well. It's a long season. There's a lot of opponents we're going to play. But so far, it's actually helped us do a lot of things we wanted to do, not just defensively, but also offensively and rotation-wise. So we'll just kind of keep rolling with it for now.
But as far as, did you have to make any changes, or was it just a matter of?
There's obviously, yeah. I mean, at this point, we're still in the learning at our own phase. So, I mean, we're even watching Air Force clips this morning. You know what I mean? Like, we're still learning how to do this ourselves, independent of who we're playing or what we're going to do. But we obviously go in and say this is what they will potentially do. The thing is, our zone's a little different than other people's zones. So even if they run something against Utah State or whoever, the way we're kind of lined up is just a little different. So sometimes we just got to kind of figure it out over the course of the game and just talk and really work in timeouts.
Coach, where do you think this ranks for Anthony's best overall all-around games? And what does it mean to you to get this win with him?
You know, to be totally honest with you, I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of individual performances. I was so obsessed with our transition defense. It was all I was thinking about. I thought they got into a little stretch there midway through the second half where they were just trying to really beat us in transition. And they got some stuff at the back of the press. They got some stuff just at the back of everything. And literally, all I was thinking when we were on offense was, where are we going to be and how can I scream to get these guys back to make sure we don't give up anything easy. So I really wasn't paying attention. He's obviously a terrific player. The story of me and Anthony is one I'll probably never forget, just as far as a kid when I got here that really didn't have a home here and didn't have anywhere to go. And I was new and I didn't really know anybody either. And we both really just decided to kind of take a chance on each other. And thankfully it's really worked out for Anthony and his career.
Obviously running the zone, but I mean, you guys were getting a lot of boards too, just in the zone. I mean, how big was that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we talked going into the game, they can move their roster around so many different ways. If Caroline's at the 3, then they go 3, 4, and 5. If Caroline's a 4, 5, then they're smaller. And they went small, in their way, especially in that first half. And I thought it just gave us a lot of offensive rebounding opportunities. And we were able to play our 2 bigs all game long. I thought Corey was really good early, gave us a nice little boost. Carlton just draws so much attention down there. We're working to get him touches. We're working to get him stuff. But I think all that attention he's drawing is just really opening stuff up for other guys. So he was big tonight, even though he doesn't necessarily show up in the score sheet. I think everyone's so worried about just having him down there. It frees up all these other guys to make some shots.
Do you see them are they more comfortable running that too? Do you think your guys seem more comfortable running in their zone and stuff?
Yeah, like I said, I think now, as happy as I am about this game, I just feel awful that, maybe coaching was the reason we didn't win games earlier in the year, and I should have done something like this earlier and just adapted to our personnel. In my own defense, we didn't have practice time. Our games were so jumbled. I was thinking it, but I never really got around to doing it. And no different than last year. Like, I'm going to maybe get a lot of credit for what happened last year. I might even get credit for tonight. This is about players, and these guys played their butts off. They bought into what I'm selling. It's not easy to say, okay, coach wants to play zone, let's just go play zone, especially in today's day and age. But the guys did it, and they don't ask questions, and they run the things I asked them to run offensively. They run the things I asked them to do defensively. It's similar to what the kids did last year, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they get to enjoy this moment.
So last season you had 6 wins between November and December. This season was the same thing. And last year, during January, you had the turnaround game, which I believe was the UNLV one. Do you feel like this game maybe is that turning point for you again?
Maybe. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even thinking about anything else right now. You just kind of go into this game, and we did everything we could to try and win it. We'll see as the season unfolds if it turns into one of those moments. Unfortunately, just me being me, it can also not be that moment, and we can struggle on Tuesday and erase something like this. So we just have to take it game by game, day by day, continue to do what we've been doing. We don't really talk about things like that. Hopefully they'll just unfold as the process does during the season.
When's the last time you got doused like that?
Man. I don't know if I ever have. I think maybe. I don't know if I ever have. But no, nothing like this. It never stopped. I thought it was just a couple of bottles, and I thought I'd kind of get out of the fray, and then they just kind of kept coming. So I'm glad. I'm hard on these guys. I am, and I put them through a lot. They've had 3-a-days for 10 straight days. They haven't had a day off. They don't get an afternoon off. They're all, especially the new guys, walking back to their rooms thinking, God, like I got to go back again tonight. I'm hard on them. So I'm glad that they still like me after all that.
I know you're talking a lot about the team, but two individuals I want to ask about. One is yours and one is theirs. I want to start with theirs. Caleb is an All-American, preseason All-American, and you guys hold him to 2 for 14 shooting. I know the zone kind of deals with whoever comes into certain parts of the zone, but specifically for Caleb, what did you guys do that kept him so off balance?
We talk about personnel going into every game. We talk about things that guys do that we want to take away. We show them tendencies. We talk about things we can do to maybe put them into areas that they're not as successful. Some nights it works. Some nights it doesn't. You know, you have a bad three-point shooter and he happens to have a good night. It goes against you. We did some things that worked. The ball maybe didn't go his way on a couple. He's a terrific basketball player. I'd have to go back and really watch the film on all his shots. But I think the zone puts us in much better positions defensively to guard not just him, but a lot of great players.
Your guy, I mean, I know you already got asked about Anthony. You've already talked about Carlton drawing all this attention, but Vance, I mean, near triple-double.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what he did tonight and kind of the balance he brings across the stats?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Vance, he's young, and I think everybody expected him being Mountain West Conference Newcomer of the Year. He was just going to come in and be this dominant player right away. He's a kid, and the conversations I had with him, with his team, with his family, with whoever, like just stay the course. And I know he's had some tough games, and I know he's had some tough nights, but he's a really talented player. He's a guy we believe in, and hopefully he's going to be here many years and continue to have great games. I'm not going to judge him on his first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Hopefully he's got a long book here, and we're just starting that.
Coach, you talked about getting wins for the fans. How big was it to just be a part of this game in the packed pitch in this way?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been here 2 years, so it's hard for me to put this into a lot of different perspective. Like, Jeff's, like, people even talked about the last time we played Nevada. Shoot, I wasn't even here for that. Like, I'm new. I love this place. I'm trying to do everything I can to make Lobo basketball special. I know we've had our mistakes. I know I've made my mistakes. But for me, this win is more about my guys and the fans than it is me. Unfortunately, I don't really enjoy winning a ton anyways, but that's not even why I'm saying that. It's more about just the standpoint that this is about giving back, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to do that, not only as this season goes on, but as future years go on as well.
Coach, the hustle.
Henry gets the
team.
Last one. You know what I mean?
Hustle of your team tonight. How do you rate that? How do you grade the hustle?
Best of the season. I don't know where it came from. I've talked about fighting and competing all year long. I've obviously shown a lot of emotion at different times and my frustration for it, but tonight was the first night I felt we were able to get rebounds that used to maybe go out of bounds and become their ball, or get loose balls, or whatever those things may be, and we haven't done that this year. But thankfully tonight we were able to do that, and that's really all one of the just main things we discuss. So I'm really happy that the guys were able to see, the fruits of their labor, and that was what made me so happy about last year's team, that them buying in led to success. And I'm hopeful that these guys understand Coach isn't crazy. Like, there's something behind this, and maybe it'll teach me something about life as well.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.